Hi, it's Liz from G-Mum's Place again, here with Insurgent by Veronica Roth, published in 2012. It is the second book in the Divergent series. There are spoilers for Divergent in this video, so if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, please stop watching this video here. Here is the synopsis. One choice can transform you, or it can destroy you. Tris Pryor's initiation day should have been marked by celebration. Instead, it ended with unspeakable horrors. Now unrest surges in the factions around her as conflict between their ideologies grows. In times of war, sides must be chosen and secrets will emerge. Tris has already paid a terrible price for survival and is racked by haunting guilt. But radical new discoveries and shifting relationships mean that she must fully embrace her divergence, even though she stands to lose everything. Insurgent is the thrilling sequel to #1 New York Times bestseller Divergent. Here are the first few paragraphs. Like a wild animal, the truth is too powerful to remain caged. From the Candor Faction Manifesto. I wake with his name in my mouth. Will. Before I open my eyes, I watch him crumple to the pavement again. Dead. My doing. Tobias crouches in front of me, his hand on my left shoulder. The train car bumps over the rails and Marcus, Peter and Caleb stand by the doorway. I take a deep breath and hold it in an attempt to relieve some of the pressure that is building in my chest. An hour ago, nothing that happened felt real to me. Now it does. I breathe out and the pressure is still there. Tris, come on, Tobias says, his eyes searching mine. We have to jump. It is too dark to see where we are, but if we are getting off, we are probably close to the fence. Tobias helps me to my feet and guides me toward the doorway. The others jump off one by one. Peter first, then Marcus, then Caleb. I take Tobias's hand. The wind picks up as we stand at the edge of the car opening, like a hand pushing me back toward safety. But we launch ourselves into the darkness and land hard on the ground. The impact hurts the bullet wound in my shoulder. I bite my lip to keep from crying out and search for my brother. Okay, I say when I see him sitting in the grass a few feet away, rubbing his knee. He nods. I hear him sniff, like he's fending off tears, and I have to turn away. We landed in the grass near the fence, several yards away from the worn path that the Amity trucks travel to deliver food to the city, and the gate that lets them out. The gate that is currently shut, locking us in. The fence towers over us, too high and flexible to climb over, too sturdy to knock down. There are supposed to be dauntless guards here, says Marcus. Where are they? They were probably under the simulation, Tobias says, and are now... He pauses. Who knows where, doing who knows what. We stopped the simulation. The weight of the hard drive in my back pocket reminds me. But we didn't pause to see the aftermath. What happened to our friends, our peers, our leaders, our factions? There is no way to know. Tobias approaches a small metal box on the right side of the gate and opens it, revealing a keypad. Let's hope the erudite didn't think to change this combination, he says, as he types in a series of numbers. He stops at the 8th one and the gate clicks open. How did you know that, says Caleb. His voice sounds thick with emotion. So thick I am surprised it does not choke him on the way out. I worked in the Dauntless control room, monitoring the security systems. We only change the codes twice a year, Tobias says. How lucky, says Caleb. He gives Tobias a wary look. Luck has nothing to do with it, Tobias says. I only worked there because I wanted to make sure I could get out. I shiver. The way he talks about getting out, it's like he thinks we're trapped. I never thought about it that way before, and now that seems foolish. We walk in a small pack, Peter cradling his arm to his chest, the arm that I shot. and Marcus with his hand on Peter's shoulder, keeping him stable. Caleb wipes his cheeks every few seconds, and I know he's crying, but I don't know how to comfort him or why I am not crying myself. Instead, I take the lead, Tobias silent at my side, and though he does not touch me, he steadies me. Pinpricks of light are the first sign that we are nearing Amity headquarters, the squares of light that turn into glowing windows, a cluster of wooden and glass buildings. Before we reach them, we have to walk through an orchard. My feet sink into the ground, and above me the branches grow into one another, forming a kind of tunnel. Dark fruit hangs among the leaves, ready to drop. The sharp, sweet smell of rotting apples mixes with the scent of wet earth in my nose. When we get close, Marcus leaves Peter's side and walks in front. I know where to go, he says. He leads us past the first building to the second one on the left. All the buildings except the greenhouses are made of the same dark wood, unpainted, rough. I hear laughter through an open window. The contrast between the laughter and the stone stillness within me is jarring. Marcus opens one of the doors. I would be shocked by the lack of security if we were not at Amity headquarters. They often straddle the line between trust and stupidity. In this building, the only sound is of our squeaking shoes. I don't hear Caleb crying anymore, but then he was quiet about it before. Marcus stops before an open room where Joanna Reese, representative of Amity, sits, staring out the window. I recognise her because it is hard to forget Joanna's face, whether you've seen her once or 1,000 times. A scar stretches in a thick line from just above her right eyebrow to her lip, rendering her blind in one eye and giving her a lisp when she talks. I have only heard her speak once, but I remember. She would have been a beautiful woman if not for that scar. "Oh, thank God," she says when she sees Marcus. She walks towards him with her arms open. Instead of embracing him, she just touches his shoulders, like she remembers the abnegation distaste for casual physical contact. "The other members of your party got here a few hours ago, but they weren't sure if you had made it," she says. She's referring to the group of abnegation who were with my father and Marcus in the safe house. I didn't even think to worry about them. She looks over Marcus's shoulder, first at Tobias and Caleb, and then at me, then at Peter. "Oh my," she says, her eyes lingering on the blood-soaking Peter's shirt. "I'll send for a doctor. I can grant you all permission to stay the night, but tomorrow our community must decide together. And," she eyes Tobias and me, "they will likely not be enthusiastic about a dauntless presence in our compound. I, of course, ask you to turn over any weapons you might have." I wonder suddenly how she knows that I am dauntless. I am still wearing a grey shirt, my father's shirt. At the moment, his smell, which is an even mixture of soap and sweat, wafts upward, and it fills my nose, fills my entire head with him. I clutch my hands so hard into fists that my fingernails cut into my skin. "Not here, not here." Tobias hands over his gun, but when I reach behind me to take out my concealed weapon, he grabs my hand, guiding it away from my back. Then he laces his fingers with mine to cover up what he just did. I know it's smart to keep one of our guns, but it would have been a relief to hand it over. "My name is Joanna Reese," she says, extending her hand to me and then Tobias. A dauntless greeting. I am impressed by her awareness of the customs of other factions. I always forget how considerate the Amity are until I see it for myself. "This is..." Marcus starts, but Tobias interrupts him. "My name is Four," he says. "This is Triss, Caleb, and Peter." A few days ago, Tobias was a name only I knew. Among the Dauntless, it was the piece of himself that he gave to me. Outside Dauntless headquarters, I remember why he hid that name from the world. It binds him to Marcus. "Welcome to the Amity compound." Joanna's eyes fix on my face, and she smiles crookedly. "Let us take care of you." And here is Erudite's definition of insurgent. Fernando hops out of the truck bed and offers me his arm. "Come on, insurgent," he says with a wink. "What?" I say. I take his arm and slide down the side of the truck. He opens the bag he was sitting with. It is full of blue clothes. He sorts through them, tossing garments to Christina and me. I get a bright blue t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. "Insurgent," he said. "Noun. A person who acts in opposition to the established authority, who is not necessarily regarded as a belligerent." "Do you need to give everything a name?" says Cara, running her hands over her dull blonde hair to tuck the stray pieces back. "We're just doing something, and it happens to be in a group. No need for a new title. I happen to enjoy categorization," Fernando replies, arching a dark eyebrow. I look at Fernando. The last time I broke into a faction's headquarters, I did it with a gun in my hand, and I left bodies behind me. I want this time to be different. I need this time to be different. "I like it," I say. "Insurgent. It's perfect." "See," Fernando says to Cara, "I'm not the only one." "Congratulations," she says wryly. Now remember, each faction is a type. Dauntless are fearless. Candor is truth. Amity is peace. Erudite is learning. Abnegation is selfless. Veronica Roth's dystopian world just gets better the more I read about it. The factions are splintered, with the erudite controlling most of the dauntless and killing most of the abnegation. During the conflict, while the dauntless were controlled, Triss had to kill one of her close friends, Will. It takes a long while for Christina, Will's girlfriend, to forgive Triss for doing this. But she does eventually, and then they work together to get information that was kept secret by the abnegation first and then the erudite to all faction members. I loved this book and gave it 5 stars on Goodread. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and leave me a comment below. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you very much for watching this video.